Oscar over here, and I'm about to be reacting to one of the great videos, videos made by this YouTuber named Dark Echoes, or the Dark Echoes series. Now, he's actually made a live-action horror story of it. When people send horror stories to him, you can all just, please subscribe to him and follow him, probably on his social medias, I think. The first video I'm going to be reacting is to this Dark Confession. Now, yes, Dark Confession is something that I could be reacting to, but this is the real Dark Confession based on a true story. So, let's get this video started. Don't worry, folks. I'll be able to actually, I probably won't be in this hat for a while. It's getting a little hot, but let's get this video started now.
This is my dark confession. I guess I'm what you'd call the black sheep of my family. I've always had interests and pursuits that weren't aligned with my family members. They were religious, I was agnostic. They were family-oriented, I was a loner. They went to college and became professionals. I flunked out and fantasized about starting a metal cover band I'd call 9-Inch Nihilism. When I was 27, my girlfriend dumped me and I moved back home. During my season of failure, there was a lot of tension with my parents. My melancholy attitude and refusal to get a job weren't doing me any favors. Things seemed on the verge of boiling over. And then...
Okay, that's a tough life, folks. That's a real tough life, I hate to admit. But, yeah, people go to college these days, and some people just flunk out of school. That's why people just go to school. Also, go to school is very important, but you can never be wrong about that one. But yes, this is probably the reason people need to go to school. Also, please follow me on my TikTok account. I post a lot of videos there. Don't worry, I've been making a lot of videos lately, and this is the first time I'm going to be doing a video reaction right here. See how it goes. If it goes well, I'll keep on making more reaction videos for y'all.
Something happened that changed all of that. My uncle got into a serious car accident that left him in a coma, hovering on the verge of death. My mom and this uncle were extremely close, and she was devastated. She dragged me to the hospital, and we basically moved into his private room. Other relatives came and went, including his wife, who went home every night, but Mom and I were there nearly around the clock. For 3 days, I endured the drudgery of waiting for someone I didn't even like to slowly die. But then, he surprised us all and pulled through. My mother was elated. The emotional floodgates opened, and she cried awkwardly in my arms. When he was cleared for visitors, my mother wanted to see him right away, but a nurse informed her that he already had a private visitation in progress with his legal counsel, and that they'd let her know when it was finished. About an hour later, the same nurse came out to the visitors area and informed us that my uncle had requested to speak with me privately. I don't know who was more surprised, my mother or me. A little backstory here. My uncle and I have zero relationship. The few interactions we have had were generally adversarial. He was the most hoity-toity of all my relatives, Mr. Faith, family, and community. He was a multi-millionaire success story, and I was a loser he looked down upon my entire life. We had nothing in
Thank goodness I'm no loser, because I always keep up on my education and everything. But yeah, a lot of my family members who I know, they don't look at me as a loser because I've been keeping up a lot of education. Never gave up on my chances. But yeah, I never gave that up. But I'm not gonna give myself up as a TikToker, which I've been doing this for a long time. Been making plenty of videos, and now just starting my YouTube channel with a special gift as a mask. Alright, let's proceed more on this video.
common whatsoever. At least, that's what I thought as I entered the hospital room. My uncle looked like
I couldn't help but notice his legs are kind of missing, like injured. That's a very tough car accident. If you get some little drop in your legs or something, cybernetic legs, because you're gonna be needing those. It's gonna be tough to walk.
he was a single-held breath away from death, but he was surprisingly lucid. He acknowledged our past differences and essentially owned up to being an arrogant blowhard. He then paused for a long, pensive moment, like he was having second thoughts about what he was about to say, and then he began. He explained that he would have to remain in the hospital for a few more weeks. He still had several more surgeries scheduled, and there was a considerable chance he might die in the process. He then looked me dead in the eyes and told me he needed me to take care of something for him. Something delicate. I knew whatever he said next was going to be fascinating, and he did not disappoint. He explained that he had a secret property upstate, managed by one of his shell companies, that nobody knew about. Inside, he had something that would damage his legacy if it were ever discovered. He wanted me to remove it from the premises and dispose of it, and he was willing to handsomely compensate me for my effort and discretion. I won't bore you with the legal specifics, but essentially, he arranged with his lawyer the following: upfront money to cover my expenses, an immediate payout of $50,000 upon providing proof of completion, and a trust to ensure that I took his secret to the grave to the tune of $50,000 a year for the rest of my life. I walked.
Okay, everyone, I gotta say that's impressive. $50,000 to do a mission like that. I've been trying to put on my hat here, but it gets all stuck all of a sudden. I apologize on that one. Anyways, 50 grand and 50 grand a year for the rest of his life. Damn. This would be a type of mission people will get, because he can get himself a nice house, car, video games. I don't have any consoles. But let's proceed. Let's see what happens next.
Out of the room, told my mom I had a friend from school that needed some emergency help, and started driving north. Back in that hospital room, before my uncle told me exactly what he wanted removed, my mind raced with the possibility of what it might be. Proof of a crime? A snuff tape? Evidence that he was in the Klan? The reality was just as dark as any of those. I arrived at the nondescript house in the country. I expected something menacing and brooding, but this property would be best described as quaint. I entered with a provided key and went straight to the thick metal door with a protected glass window. As I peered through, my opinion of my uncle would never be the same again. Sitting there alone, hungry, thirsty, and likely scared out of her mind, was a young woman. Now I realize the moral thing to do would have been to immediately contact the authorities and to ensure my uncle was exposed as the monster he truly is. But
stories, but I know this would be the dark confession that you can't do that. But what would you rather have? Contact the authorities and not get the 50 grand, or get the 50 grand and get what you needed, buy whatever you wanted. 50 grand. Think about that. This will be interesting to see. But let's see what he's gonna do.
Like I said, this is a confession. And it was easier than you might expect for me to rationalize my decision to follow through with removing her as my uncle requested. And not just because of the money, although that was most of it, but there was also my mom. It would destroy her to know the truth. My uncle's instructions were very specific. I fed her, gave her a fresh change of clothes, and then gave her a drugged bottle of water. After she was incapacitated, I removed any evidence of her restraint system and then loaded her limp body into the van. It was an 8-hour drive to my destination, during which I crossed 3 state lines and became a human trafficker. At one point, she started to wake up. I assured her I wasn't going to hurt her, that she was going to start a new life, and that she would never go back to that other place again. I gave her more food and water, non-drug this time, and after she relaxed a bit, she opened up and told me her story. She was 15 when she was abducted and eventually sold to my uncle. It happened at a shopping center in Reykjavik, Iceland. It happened so fast that she didn't even scream. The last public place she ever visited was a candle store. I gave her one more bottle of drugged water as we neared the destination. It was a run-down motel outside of a major city, the kind that accepted cash and was littered with junkies. I carried the girl inside and set her on the bed. There was a distinctive painting on the wall, and I positioned myself so both the girl and the painting were in frame, and took a photo. This was the proof requested by my uncle to ensure that I had taken her to the correct place. As she laid there, I was captivated by her unique beauty, her blue eyes, her pale skin. I then took out the syringe. It contained a lethal dose of fentanyl-laced heroin. He wanted me to leave her for dead in the hotel room.
Don't do that. Don't kill her, man. There's a way to handle that situation. Take her with you. Keep her safe. No killing at all. That would not help at all. Either way, you'll still get paid to do that. But if you bring her home, that will receive you a good honor instead of bad.
And make it look like another downtrodden soul threw her life away on opiates. A few minutes later, my new account showed $50,000. I left the hotel and drove straight back to my home state. By this point, I hadn't slept in over 24 hours, but I drove through the night fueled on fear and adrenaline. It was morning by the time I arrived, but I didn't go home. I met with a realtor about buying a nearby farmhouse with a large, unfinished basement. It was done. I would never go back to being who I was only a day before. I felt weird about it for a few weeks, but then my life recalibrated and this became my new baseline. That was 3 years ago. My uncle ended up pulling through, several surgeries, and a few months later, he left the hospital. As for me, it's nice having my own place, and somewhat surprisingly, I actually visit my family more than I expected. Don't get me wrong, I'm still the black sheep. They're still religious, I'm still agnostic. They're still family-oriented, I'm still... well, I'm not sure what I am anymore. I just know I don't have a lot in common with any of them. Except my uncle. We do have this one thing. And I don't mean first-hand knowledge of his darkest secret. No, I mean something else. I have my own secret now, something no one else would quite understand. See, I didn't inject that girl with the fentanyl. I took her with me, and I've kept her contained in my now finished basement ever since. Like I said, this is my dark confession. We all have our secrets.
Boy, that was a tough, scary story right there. Scary, live action, true horror story. I would say that human trafficking is just one of those things that's been happening to other people a lot. But what else can I say? This is one of those stories that's happened probably in real life, but at least that guy didn't kill the girl. He just kept her alive, and he took her with him. Kept her alive. I think he probably married her too. If you probably have not took my bio, I am taken, but not officially married yet. Don't worry, maybe someday. But anyways, I'll probably react to another video soon. Right to this. Hope you liked the video. Be sure like the channel of Dark Echoes. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel. If there's any videos you want me to do, leave a comment down below for me. I'll be sure to do that. And take care of yourselves, y'all. Peace.